All right, how many friends you got? Like hardcore friends, got your back to the death, blood brothers, whatever you want to call it. How many you got in your life? 1, 20, none. Join us today as we talk about friends here on Man Talk. So Garrett, the other day I was talking to someone about actually getting together, and we have this new youth initiative called My Tribe, where there's like youth groups. We call them kind of life groups, these groups where you do life together and meet on a consistent basis. But I was talking to this person and about that, the importance of friendship and getting together. And they said to me something really interesting is, first of all, they said, yeah, we're really interested in this concept of My Tribe.
Sure.
Because we don't have any friends. And I was kind of taken aback by that because the couple that I was talking to, specifically this person, very attractive, very socially high EQ. They weren't weird.
Okay, normal person.
Right, you know what I mean? Like there's no reason for them not to have friends, which is a horrible thing to say, but I don't know if you've ever met people like they come to you and tell you, well, I don't have any friends. You're like, I can tell you why, type of thing.
No, exactly.
But they just seem like normal, balanced people. I never would have ever thought that they would have told me that, but in this time and space together, they were like, yeah, man, I don't really have any friends, so I would be all over this opportunity.
Interesting.
Is that crazy? By the way, they weren't like, they were in their 20s. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Is that common, you think? Or what are your thoughts on that?
I really think it's more common than we think. So for me, for instance, like I'm in my 20s as well. And when I, left high school, when you have friends in high school and all that stuff. And I started losing my friends because you're not in high school anymore, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's, we're going to college, getting a job, whatever it was. I was doing my thing. And I started to wonder where all my friends at. Mm-hmm. And so, I totally get that. Like, you want friends, you crave them, you crave that friendship, that intimacy, whatever it is. And sometimes they're just nowhere to be seen. Mm-hmm. I think that's way more common than we think.
I wonder, because you could argue, like, if I went to their social media page or whatever, and I don't know how many you might have in your social media, I could say, well, what do you mean you don't have any friends? You have thousands of friends.
Oh, sure. Like, I get asked the question, well, do you know so-and-so? And often my response will be, oh, yeah, I follow them on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, I follow them on Instagram, but I don't know them.
Yeah.
But I follow them.
But you call them, especially from Facebook, you call them friends.
That's what you call it, friend.
And if you've ever met somebody for the first time and they tell you that we're friends because we're on Facebook together, you're like, so there's different definitions, maybe a levels of if.
Yeah, because you've got your acquaintances, right? And then you've got your friends, but you open up by talking about like that buddy, like that one that you go to. Just that guy,
right,
or whoever it is.
Yeah. So, I think in the English language there's several words that we use, and so many different ways that it sometimes lose their meaning. Like, for instance, I can love my wife, but I also can love my car, and I can love Mexican pizzas at Taco Bell.
Yeah, good stuff.
So. But I don't think that my wife would think that it would be cool if I put her on par with the Mexican pizza, which is quite delicious.
Yeah, no, mine wouldn't either.
But I think friends is that way too. Everyone that you meet's your friend. Well, okay, so maybe what they were talking about was something a little bit greater. I want to read this text to you that I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's in the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 24. And this is in the English Standard Version. It says, a man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. And I know that it reads differently than other versions. Like I think that a man, many friends needs to be friendly or something like that.
Yeah.
But this is really interesting. I looked up the actual literal, like interpretation, right?
Yeah.
And it says a man of many friends will be broken in pieces.
That's graphic, but I think it illustrates a good point. Like, so when you have a friendship with someone, I mean, that's a gift on both ends if it's a true friendship, right? Because you give them, you give them trust, you give them a part of who you are. And I mean, you mentioned your wife. For my wife, that's everything that I have is hers. But if I have 30 people that I want to be good friends with, I'm just cheaply giving away pieces until there's nothing left, right?
Right, because I think you need time and life experiences really to feed friendship. And I don't even think it's possible to have 30 really, really close friends because they're not that. There's not much, you got to sleep. I mean, there's not that much time in a day.
Exactly, and I think so often we expect that friend to come along, or that best friend, whatever it is, and it's just going to be easy. Like, oh, we like all the same things, we communicate the same way. It's just boom, there it is. But I tell you, like, my best friend was not that way. Like, I met this guy, and we don't like a lot of the same things. His hobbies are very different than mine. The work that we do are very polar opposite. And yet, he's my best friend now, other than my wife. And it wasn't easy.
This isn't a thus saith the Lord, or even this is the truth, like I'm not dogmatic on it, but my hunch is that the reality is that you probably only have enough time for one or two, like, crazy close friends, like six as close as a brother,
Exactly.
Obviously, Jesus in that text that we read is the one that says, I'll stick closer than a brother. But, if you have one, you should count yourself blessed. If you have two, like, that's crazy unheard of. If you have three, maybe you don't.
Life isn't a sitcom, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and I think though, however, there might be, I don't know what kind of term we would give, but there might be, going back to this person I talked about in the beginning, there might be they're looking for someone to do life together, to where maybe not that highest level of friendship, but at least socially connect.
Hang out.
And so here's my question. What if I'm looking for, a handful of friends, using your TV reference, to just to hang out with on a consistent basis, 5, 6. How do I find those types of friends? What's going to be required in order for me to get that?
Well, I think that the answer to that question depends on if you love Jesus or not. Because I mean, if you're just looking for friendship and you're not really concerned about Christ and sharing His love with other people, you could answer that question one way. But if that is something that's a priority for you, then it's sharing the love of Jesus with others. And often that's looking for the person in the room that isn't talking to somebody.
Maybe that formula has a name that has been, like love and friendship, twisted, and there's so many definitions it doesn't mean something anymore. But could it be that what God called that was church? This concept of doing life together with brothers and sisters like mind, and caring for one another, understanding that they're not going to be in the ultimate level closeness, because that usually is a one or two thing, but just people that you can connect with.
And I think you used a word there it was caring, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of friendships break down because that caring is often one-sided. Like, I can tell if you care, or if it's just fake, right?
Yeah, right.
So legitimately caring about where somebody's coming from, and I don't do that naturally, because naturally I'm a really selfish person. So if you don't do anything for me,
forget you.
See you later. I mean, I only have so much time in the world.
Right. Yeah.
If you don't do anything, see ya.
Yeah.
But with Jesus, everyone has worth and meaning, and they all care about something. And I think Christ can really teach you how to care about anyone, no matter where they're from. So
maybe put yourself out there to get into those situations. We can make those connections. But what if I'm an introvert? Like, that's not really my thing. I don't want to meet new people. Is this advice, this concept only for extroverted people, or
that's really hard for me to answer because I'm naturally an extrovert. My wife would be able to answer that a lot better. But I think it works for introverts too. It's just going to take more work.
I actually think introverts have a greater advantage from the perspective of when I talk to introverted people, they're way more they're much better, I should say,
More self-aware.
One-on-one.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
introverts, they come into a big group and are like, whoa.
And connect.
But one-on-one, they want to connect. So I think just putting yourself out there and being consistent with meeting people and talking to people is a good way of doing that. I don't think that we should expect friends to just show up on our doorstep any more than we should expect pizza to end up on our doorstep if we didn't order it.
You got to
so
invest in it.
there's got to be some sort of an investment. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you, like when I found that a lot of my good friends, they're not even necessarily in my age group.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes if someone's not in my age group, I'm like, well, I'm not going to connect with them. But there's some really cool people out there that are, in their 70s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much you can learn from them. Like, don't write them off just how old they are.
Okay, so if I go to a church and I'm the only person under 30, I shouldn't be like, well, I can't have any friends now.
No, I mean, these guys, they're older, and because they're older, they've got skills, man. Like they way better fishermen than I am.
Yeah.
So teach me what you're doing.
Right.
It's
right.
awesome.
Yeah. All right. So here's a challenge for this Man Talk. If you're looking for friends, is that something you're wanting to grow in that? Maybe you're looking for someone who's like the ultimate level of friendship. That's going to obviously take time and life experiences to do that. Like the old country song, you can't make old friends.
Yeah.
So you're going to need to invest the time. But even if you're just looking to connect with people and to have some friends that you can do life together and potentially grow stronger and stronger in your relationships, you're going to need to have conversations. You're going to need to set up times to connect with people.
Show up.
All right. And so I challenge you to do that. Here's one of the things that's good too is pray for it. Lord, bring me someone in my life that I can connect with.
Yeah.
You might not even know that person. They might not be in your social circle or your church circle. You might meet them, at a Meijer or somewhere, but just be open to that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And care.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Exactly. All right. Hey, thanks for listening to Man Talk. As always, 3 things here. We believe that you should love God.
Love everyone.
And duct tape fixes
everything.
Thanks for watching.